It's Michelle, your practical priestess here at Divinely Genuine. Let's see, I need to turn this up because it looks so not bright to me. So I wanted to do a little video about trauma and how important it is to heal after trauma. And I could go into like what I mean by trauma, but I mean, obviously if it's a physical trauma, there's going to be a little more to it, but so there's been a lot of crazy transits going on, and people have been through some intense stuff, all the way back to like 2011 and 2012, and just pretty intense throughout for a lot of people, myself included. Uranus was in Aries the past 7 years, affecting me in the area of relationships in the 7th house. And if I think back to 7 years ago, it's when it's just so hard to have a YouTube channel, and this thing's like so like public to everyone. Like, my family just experienced a lot of like just really like traumatizing things, honestly. So yeah, but healing is so important afterwards, and it's not just my family, but I bring that up because I'm there with you guys. Like, I've been through it too, and I've been through the hardest things. And so if life gets hard for you guys, or if you have been affected with any trauma, that you're kind of in a stable recovering place, or things have changed to be a certain way that's a little more calmer, and you're just kind of like, whoa, what was all that? Follow that, take time for that healing, to just kind of rethink everything, play it out, forgive everyone involved, no matter how long that takes you. It's kind of what led me to astrology. I believe, like, it didn't really work out. Like, I didn't plan it. I don't think anyone really plans it when they get into astrology. You just, like, happen upon it. And, like, I've always been interested in that mystical type part of our world, and astrology and horoscopes. I'd remember, like, birthdays as a child, and especially a teenager, reading horoscopes. But it was the Leo King's app where I was seeing the notifications 3 times a day and going by his readings, that was like showing how accurate it was. And so then I began to follow it. And after following it and learning what a psychology tool it was, I could then attempt to forgive, like, people that have hurt me over these last, years that have been so intense. And there are a lot of transits going on, so I'm not exactly saying had to be just Uranus, because they're all kind of working together, but that just so happens to be where Uranus was for me. But there's all kind of stuff. Anywho, so before I get off subject on that rabbit hole, so astrology can help you in understanding, and it is very important to forgive everyone that may have hurt you, because it's clearing your energy. So even people that it's like indirectly, like for myself, there were other officials like that I didn't know, on a personal level involved, and it can be anyone in the process, but it just helps you to free that whole trauma, with everyone involved when you forgive people. And sometimes you have to be led to astrology because you can't figure out, why people do the things they do if it hurts others, that kind of stuff. and hurts others that they should care for, protect, and love, or, or the indirect people involved that are like making decisions, like our justice system, making decisions in a place of power, and they could basically give two shits, and it's their job, as a, I just. So if you're having trouble forgiving people, astrology is a good way to do it, because you see that we all have, like, here's this chart that I'm using to teach an astrology course at the local libraries here in Houston. And so this is a birth natal chart. And these are the houses and constellations that represent each of us. Like the sun would be here, the moon would be here, or whatever. And see how these are numbered? That all goes together. And, you might see things in someone's chart that you need to forgive and be like, oh, well, it's basically a way to categorize people's psychology and figure them out. What are they more adept to do? Like, is a Taurus sun sign, greedier? And I'm not calling you greedy, but are y'all more able to become greedy? I guess basically I am, but than, like, say, a Libra. Okay, so Libra, the archetype, is always thinking about others, or they're out of balance thinking of themselves. And like Taurus is, there's a strong need for survival in the physical world. So, like a strong need. Okay, so they'd be more likely to be greedy with things. Unfortunately, but it helps to recognize things, to learn from ourselves, and to, like if you have Taurus energy, you may like think of that. There's some beautiful things about Taurus, though. Like, it's my favorite moon sign. A divine connection of mine had a Taurus moon, and it's beautiful. They're ruled by Venus, so I wasn't trying to talk smack about them, but that's just how it is. Or we'll say, like, an Aquarius is able to, possibly be more creative than, say, maybe Capricorn. As Capricorn's a great builder and can be very creative and actually finish the job, Aquarius may be able to come out with a more creative twist to it as they think outside of the box, But these things can't be, like, set in stone and held against anyone. I think that's part of why it's been suppressed, because there's power and because people would abuse it and be like, well, all Scorpios are of the devil. Just kidding about that, by the way. Actually, Capricorn, I love Capricorns, but it's interesting in tarot. The Capricorn is the devil card. Like, okay. Why? But I think it's more because they're very, like, my older sister's a Capricorn, one of my aunts is a Capricorn, my ex-mother-in-law, my son has some Capricorn going on. Lover has one. Like, when I say one, I mean of the three, but they're successful usually. Like, it doesn't have to be money, but there's a certain, like, success to how they live their lives, like they may be married, owning a home, and have a retirement, like just that kind of deal. But usually they're very successful. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to make a video reminding you guys that, if you've been through some hard stuff, obviously at some point life will get hard. And if you've already gone through some stuff, think about taking time to heal. Music, meditation, eating right, working out, spending time with friends, and, give yourself some comedy. And give yourself a reason to, what am I talking about? Give yourself time and what do I want to say? A moment to process it correctly, learn from it, see where you could have done things maybe better, even if that's in the way of self-care, because we can't regret and change fate, but we have to learn what we can from the hard lessons, and make sure to appreciate the calm ones, the calm times better. But healing's important. You got to clear the energy so that you can get to better levels in life, or those behaviors from trauma start to become patterns, just as, an affirmation you tell yourself each day becomes a pattern, right? So give yourself time to process any trauma that's gone on in your life. And, I'm doing, I meant to mention this earlier, I almost forgot. My website should be going back up on the new moon. Because I was doing like a trial and it's ended, but I didn't want to have it go forward on these past days. I wanted to go ahead and wait till the new moon. Gotta use the astrology as an astrologer, right? But so, I'm offering on my website, so on the new moon, check it out. Or the weekend after, for sure it'll be up. But it's a 30-minute, you don't even have to wait for the website. It's a free 30-minute spiritual healing that I'm offering for free. Because once we've been awakened and changed and gone through these unconditional love and this whole awakening process of what we're eating and the stars directing our lives, impacting us so closely, this whole awakening experience, you realize how important healing is. And you can't, it's the process, it's what we're doing now. Because we can't bring in that light as strong and great as we want to, with so much pain still lingering, not only in our personal lives, but amongst the world. It's the age of Aquarius. We got to change this, and it starts just in our own lives. Set your boundaries with, that's what we can learn. Set our boundaries to practice self-care, and then things fall away generationally. Things fall away, what do they call it? Toxic relationships, yeah, but it's more, codependent has been basically the way relationships have been learned, even though as a child we realized they were not right, that something was off in the way women and men were balanced out, until here recently. Again, I believe again, right? The ancients knew what was up. We've lost our way a bit, and we're out of balance, and we've got to help, and it starts with us. So, love you guys. Thanks for y'all's support. Practice self-love and healing a little bit each day, or time each day. If you can do more than a little bit, that's great. But I'll be doing the same. Love you guys. If you want to work with me and what I'm trying to give to the world, and take advantage of the spiritual healing, it's 30 minutes, and you can email me, practicalpriestess44@gmail.com. And you don't have to wait for the website for that, but it will be back up. I'm waiting for the new moon. Yay! And alright, so love you guys. Thanks for the support, and stay safe, be happy, go easy on yourself. See ya.